Okay, so I am here with an idea that I got from. Okay, so I think it goes. Mom needs a clone, Marcia. Then Tiffany Plans, Tiffany. Then also saw paper chasing pens, Rhonda. All have um, this server notebook in some form or fashion. So this is the one I went out there and found. I've had it for about a week almost, I guess, and I wanted one when I saw Mom Needs a Clone with her composition style. And it's just the actual book that a server would use. And so I was thinking, and I love how each one of those, how they all used it. And I wanted something that would fit in here that would not make it bulky. It's a place for stickers, and then it's got all these pockets. So I was like, oh, how cool is that? So this is the color. It's pink. I don't. That shouldn't be any surprise to anyone watching this that I would have got pink. And I was looking for. I was on a hunt for a book. I mean, I searched Amazon. I went to Google and all these different places, and I was looking what's the perfect size. This notebook is from the Dollar General in the books, and it's made in Vietnam. So this paper is not that thin cornbread paper, but it's 100. I think it's 50 sheets, and I did a pen test on the back. That's the Curo gel pen, and I really appreciate that it writes good. And they had two letters. The first one I picked up said S. This one, when I turned up, it said C. I said, oh, it must be meant to be. So I grabbed this, even though it's yellow and it has C. I'm not going to keep it that way. Then I also picked up these books. They were in the 3-pack for $4. And this paper is nice as well. It's not that thin paper. And these were made in Vietnam, but they're from Dollar General. And I like those covers. So I'm going to use those in a future project. I just wanted to share those. Don't sleep on Dollar General as far as notebooks. Maybe it's not even news to you. It was just news to me. So what I decided to do was get the measurements, and I um, took my chat GPT, and I saw this image, and I had it juiced it up a little bit, and I wanted it more of my style. So it says Christy and everything. That's not a representation of me, but it is a black woman. And I'm going to cut this down and add it to the front cover of this. I think at the end of the day, that's going to look really nice. So let me cut this out. Move this to the side. As I look at my paper trimmer, it is old, but it still works. I do a lot of cutting on here. Um, Let me see. I'm gonna cut this. I did print this on glossy photo paper, so that's what's making it extra vibrant. And we're gonna cut this side down, and I had the size of it typed in when it printed, so that's why I can go without having to worry about measurements. But I think it ended up being like 3.85 by 5.75 or 6.75. I have to make sure I have to double check that size. And okay, so move this out the way. This looks like it's going to be pretty good match for sizes. Let's see. Oh, it's a little bit off, so I needed to make it a little longer. But what we can do is to fix that is take some pink paper and make that work, which I have. So I got some black because that's the easiest one I could find. And I'm going to cut a small strip to put at the top and bottom, so I don't have to worry about being a different pink. I thought about it. So I'm going to make this about approximately maybe a 1/4 inch, and use that as a topper for border the bottom and the top. And the way that's on here Yeah, that'll be plenty. It looks like I'm gonna have to do a whole frame. Let's do one more strip. Whole frame around the edge of the page. All right, just to make sure that we have enough coverage so the yellow won't peek through. The other side of it will go into the book, so you won't see that. I guess I have enough to do the seams too. Let's work that out. Okay, so I'm going to set that over to the side, and we're going to cut this down to fit the cover. All right, and this should be big enough to do the bottom. Yep. All right, and we'll glue that across the bottom and glue that across the top, and then we'll put this over here from edge to edge. I'm just gonna cover this notebook. And I'm gonna glue these on here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have the frame glued on. I'm going to get ready to prepare the photo cover to be glued on. And that black actually gives it a nice finish. But what I want to do, because it says composition book, I want to wrap that yellow. So I'm going to put another thin piece over there. Okay, so I cut a real thin strip, and what I'm going to do is cover the edge of the book. And I think even one more step, I have a extra roll of black electrical tape right here that I think I'm gonna go across the seam with, and I think once I put the photo on there, that it will give it that composition book style that I want. So let me glue this on first. It'll give it a frame. So I just have a piece of plastic laying here so that I protect my desk mat. Okay, and then put this up against here, and that's gonna be wet because it's a runny glue. That's what made me think about one more layer of something else, but it covers that up pretty well. But a piece of black tape would make it look like that binder, the banner, the part of the composition book that's black, and I think that would be a dope effect too. It'll make it look like it's a true composition book. So, well, I'm gonna let that dry, and as soon as I get some dryness with it, I might put my heat gun on it so I can kind of speed it up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes. I let it dry as much as I could, and I ran a heat gun on it. So I'm going to take this picture that I made, and I'm going to take it to the edge, center it as much as possible, and glue that on there. So let's run some glue across here. This is real liquid wet glue, it's not going to be too much interaction with this because of the fact that it's going to be inside a cover. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm still trying to put my hands on my electrical tape. I probably have to go to a different route because I haven't been able to find it just yet. So, okay. So I'm going to put that on there, and this glue is wet, so it gives me opportunity to place it and move it as needed. I want it up against the edge, and I'm going to run my glue gun, my hot heat gun for a few minutes, just briefly, not too long because I don't want it to curl. Yeah, so I'm gonna let this do some air drying and look at my alternatives for uh, what I'm gonna use on this book. So I have this black grid washi that I think it was still customarily. I actually have that composition over, but I'm gonna want this grid for this sake, and see if that how that looks. I think it looks good instead of stressing myself out about where is the electrical tape. I'm gonna put that back down. Let me put a clamp on that. Okay, so just gonna let that sit in there so it keeps it down, pressed down. Then I'm going to probably do one more to hook it around this side. So technically you didn't have to put that black seam on there, but it covers up the yellow so the yellow's not peeping through. So that's an option. You know, when you're doing crafts, you make do what's best for you and how you work out. I'm gonna trim around the top of the book. Right there. And go this way. I'm not worried about the back of the book because that will go into the actual sleeve on there. But I think I'll put something on heavy on top of this and let this press out and put it face down. I'll take this clip off because I don't want that dimpled. So I'm gonna take this clip off. I just used that while I was holding it and then let that weigh it down, and I'll come back for a final reveal. Okay, so a few hours later, we have this completed. I just wanted to wrap this up. I let it dry flat, and it is a nice composition book, a book to jot notes. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for. I was just excited to join in with everybody and do a book. So I think I love how that turned out with the grid washi tape. I also created me some inserts because I wanted to have something to go over there, and it's just some cards I printed on photograph paper as well as a complement that. That is my composition book. Also has some extras. If you have seen the video before this, I had said I was going to decorate, so I put the extra cards over there in that book. And I appreciate you hanging out and watching this video of me crafting. I hope to talk to you soon. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.